Welcome everybody to another video. This is more of an editorial instead of an actual podcast episode. Sorry I haven't been doing a podcast in a few days, but it's just, the world's getting crazy, man. Jesus Christ. But I will say, you know, if you saw the video, the podcast episodes where I've been talking about Prehistoric Planet, you'll know that this has probably been one of my most anticipated shows in a long time because it felt like, it was like a modern take on Walking with Dinosaurs, and if you saw the podcast episode where we talk about about Prehistoric Planet, like having seen the show. This is one of my favorite shows to come out in a long time. I mean, granted, I don't watch that much TV to begin with. But, man, everything about Prehistoric Planet just clicked. It was, again, I would say it's even better than Walking with Dinosaurs, to be honest. And one of the things that I just thought was incredible were the visual effects. Since this is executive produced by Jon Favreau, I got really excited because he, is very well experienced in directing movies with visual effects. Elf, I thought had some really good, sleight of hand kind of tricks, mainly with, forced perspective. But then there's what was it, Iron Man 2, The Jungle Book, and The Lion King, all four of them got nominated for Best Visual Effects at the Oscars, and The Jungle Book won. It would have been 2 had The Lion King not lost to 1917, but that's a whole, curveball in of itself. But regardless, basically, Jon Favreau knows his shit when it comes to coordinating the visual effects artists and giving them enough time and money to make sure that they can work, do what they do. I mean, granted, I don't know how. I mean, I'm not exactly sure how much, involvement he had in the show. But because obviously he's busy with Mandalorian, but regardless, the visual effects in Prehistoric Planet are the best dinosaur visual effects I've ever seen in my life. Even coming out of Jurassic World Dominion, I still think, Prehistoric Planet had better effects. That's not to say that the effects in Jurassic World Dominion were bad. Well, I should say the CGI, for the most part, is really good. In Jurassic World Dominion, it's really the practical effects that are terrible. But again, that's a whole nother slew in of itself. What I will say, but yeah, and I've been dying to see a visual effects breakdown for Prehistoric Planet, and it just so happens that something like that has come around, and a video has been posted, how Prehistoric Planet created scientifically accurate dinosaurs, and we're going to be reacting to this video because I got a few seconds in, and it's oh, they're showing some of the visual effects breakdowns of this, and so yeah, let's just go ahead and check it out. This still looks incredible.
This is Prehistoric Planet.
There's the muscle.
Paleo art and paleontology has always gone hand in hand.
So that was a real plate.
Inspired.
Because I could have sworn there was some environments that are completely CGI.
I'd like
we'll have
to
to see
think that we are doing our part in paleo art, pushing that boundary.
Well, this series is about authenticity on every level. So it's authentic in the way it's filmed. The animals are absolutely authentic and accurate in their depiction, the structural depiction, what they look like, but also what they do. Because the key to this series was not just showing dinosaurs, but about their behavior.
Dinosaurs
provided it. That looks so good!
In my experience, a wholly unique challenge in that they are not fantastical. They are 100% real, and more importantly, for our program, it was so important that we got them right. Everything we did, every decision
God,
that we did
oh.
was based off of the best science and the best theories available to us. The mass, weight distribution, size of teeth, and how often they change their teeth and replace their teeth. All that stuff, the scales, the latest ideas of colors. From what I understand, there's chemicals left in fossilized feathers that give you hints of what colors dinosaurs actually are.
And if
Was
we
this like
come up with an idea
that's an
that
animation
hasn't
test, I
really been
think.
supported by the
Because I don't remember
we
that
haven't
shot
gone
being
with
in the
it.
show.
We think that many dinosaurs were very flamboyant, very show-offy animals. We show certain of these animals behaving in mating displays. We look at the behavior of the animals that surround our extinct dinosaurs in the family tree, a technique called
God, the
phylogenetic
micro
bracketing.
details
We're
in the
able, on
skin
basis
is
of postures
fantastic.
that we see in crocodilians and birds, to infer
I should also
what
say
was
I'm not
present in extinct
at all
dinosaurs.
experienced in
Usually
visual
Tyrannosaurus
effects,
rex have eyelids,
but
crocodiles and alligators have got
this
eyelids,
looks
and different
fantastic.
birds have got eyelids, so we can be pretty confident that Tyrannosaurus rex would have eyelids too, and we use that method across
the
the
skin
series
jiggles
in
are so
our decision.
cool.
T-Rexes have always been portrayed as very skeletal. I think it's in part it was to make them feel very monstrous and evil. But in fact, once we layered on all the muscles and fat and skin that would be required to sustain that sort of
Like the one thing you
ended up a very large dinosaur, and it looks very different than anything you've seen before. I think the best way to think about animators were puppets, puppeteers, you know. So the asset team builds the puppet, the rigging team attaches strings to that puppet for us to move, and animators move the puppet around.
It's honestly a lot like playing with toys, you know, like just like when you're a kid, just like, rah, it's gonna go over here. Like, it feels like that. So this is a scene from the desert bloom sequence with Mononicus.
I need to
It's a
know
very
if there's
highly
any
specialized
fully digital
dinosaur.
environments in this
We
show.
know that it lived in the desert.
'Cause I
and
heard
likes
there
to hunt
were.
insects. And it has these little stubby little claws, and like the claws are like about 7.5 centimeters long. They're similar to like a pangolin or like an anteater, where they will like use them to dig into a termite mound. We really just try and filter in.
Yeah,
what we
I figured that was a.
birds.
I figured it looked like a barn
Came
owl,
across,
the
the
Mononicus.
golden pheasant, which was very spurty. Like it would run quickly and then stop and then like cock its head and then run again. And so I felt like this kind of felt like this very long-legged dinosaur with.
As far as I'm concerned,
with
the
strings
show doesn't
and-
qualify for this year's
So I
Emmys.
really
It's
wanted
going
to
to qualify
push
for next year's
that
Emmys.
character for this dinosaur. So here's the scene where we've got the log brought in along with the Mononicus, and so like I will be grabbing these controls and like moving this guy along, grabbing the foot and like taking a step or doing a jump, and we will refine this and show this to Dr. Darren Naish to see if we're following the science. Does this make sense for the anatomical structure of a Mononicus? Once we've gotten the animation to a point that we're happy with, then we send it to lighting department and the groom department, and they'll light the scene. Fur gets put on the dinosaur, and they will, like, compositing will make that dinosaur like
That is
fit in the
amazing.
environment.
It looks so good.
They are extraordinary animals with individual lives and struggles which apply in the way that they apply today. So, the
And this show
universality of
was actually in
of the struggles
4K,
of animals is-
I should mention.
is
This is
story
a
that we told
show
you
in
expected
4K,
10
so
years today or 10 years
again,
ago,
it's
5 years
incredible.
ago.
It was an incredibly rich and diverse time with multiple different environments, multiple different habitats, multiple different groups of animals doing really cool things.
Again, this is just phenomenal. I hope we get to see like further, I hope we get to see further was the word I'm looking for, further visual effects breakdowns from MPC like on their YouTube channel, because all of them look so good. But again, I could have sworn, because I read an article somewhere that said that MPC made some digital environments, and I gotta know which one. Granted, the fact that I'm wondering which scenes had to have, because I have a feeling that maybe like that scene with the Pachyrhinosaurus and the Nanuqsaurus, like in the Winter Storm. I think that might have to be like would that have to be a fully digital scene if there are any visual? I do know the Corridor crew is going to be talking about this soon, and I can't wait to see what they find out. Because I'm just an enthusiast on dinosaurs and visual effects. I do not have experience in paleontology nor visual effects. So I'm pretty much, basically, I'm just like, I'm sort of like Corridor Crew when talking, because I react to CGI, but I'm like the stupid version of Corridor Crew. Like, they're the experts. I'm just the dumb YouTuber wanting to get clicks. But, okay, that's a little bit of a, that's a little bit mean of me to say to myself, but basically, don't take whatever I say as if I was an expert, because I'm obviously not. Like, talk to the real experts when it comes to CGI and dinosaurs and shit. But yeah, what do you think of this sort of visual effects breakdown of sorts of Prehistoric Planet? Have you seen Prehistoric Planet? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And yeah, I think that's gonna, yeah. And if you want to see more, click this.